Oh boy. Ooh, fat influencers are passing away. Gee, I wonder why.
Fat acceptance is a cult.
Just a reminder that I am...
So is... Can I just preface this so I don't repeat myself 100 times? I lost someone to ED. And I don't mean the eating disorder of being fat. I meant, like, not eating. To anorexia. I don't know if I can say this word on YouTube. But, you know, to Anna. Pro Anna and, like, you know, pro Anna Twitter. Yeah, I lost someone to that. So, like, I understand it's both ways is really, really bad. This is bad, and being super, super duper skinny and not eating is bad. That ain't bad? What do you mean that ain't bad? What the fuck?
Very fat and very sexy. And I am 100% glorifying obesity.
I want to inspire big girls all over the world. This is what I manifest every single day.
Dead at 37 as a woman? Ooh.
Choo choo.
Oh God, not Nikocado!
Choo choo.
There's nothing you can do.
No, not Nikocado.
I'm fat and I'm sexy.
I'm fat and I'm sexy.
I'm sure someone finds you sexy. And also, a long time ago, people also thought being chunky meant that you were sexy.
Sure, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I don't know about you. I don't find any sexiness in contributing to the statistics that obesity is the leading cause of death in the US. Very hot, I know.
Just because
It's so
I'm fat,
sexy.
that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Is that Blair?
I've got the...
I think it is, isn't it?
He's dead.
Join me on my Fat Positive radio show.
Which didn't last long because she died.
Unlike how Dove or the new wave of Victoria's Secret wants you to believe, healthy beauty does not come at every size, and certainly not at a lot of the socially noble, body positive plus sizes. Yet it is absolutely not.
Both extremes are terrible, man. You take it one way or the other, it's gonna be bad.
Wholesome to point that out.
Unfortunately, we do not have an anorexia problem. We have an obesity problem in America. Being chunky and the power and we're healthy, so wasn't being attractive is more about being person of higher status. Yeah, but being of higher status means that more people find you attractive. Actually, so don't ever correct me ever again. No, I'm just kidding. No, I totally get it. If you have higher status, more people will find you more attractive. That's just statistics. Not everyone, obviously, but like the average person might.
So
that's why celebrities exist, right?
Has been done to powder the fat elephant in the room. That obesity is in fact a disease, not a bragging point. But corporations don't want you to get well because there's a gold mine in fatness. Not just in convincing you to shed it, but also for you to keep it. Take body positive all-star Dove, for instance. Real beauty comes at every size. They stretch out their plastic bottles and video game figures to slap on words like beautiful.
Hold on, I gotta find the clip. Hold on. I gotta play this. For those that don't know, you have to go through this rite of passage. This is
Unreal
a real
Engine,
ad.
I'm disappointed in you. What's this? Should have been an earthquake.
Oh my god!
Wow. How brave. How stunning.
Very
Amazing.
brave.
They even made the model skinnier? Well, of course they did. Remember a guy...
Oh my god, they did! Wait, I completely forgot. It's been so long since I saw this. Yeah, they made the model skinnier than the actual person. Yeah.
Realistic looking women is whenever they're fat. Yeah, if a girl is in shape, that's an unrealistic body standard and it's not real. Yeah, actual real representation.
You hear that, Europeans? If you're not as fat as Americans, you ain't a real woman.
Is whenever all of the characters are fat and ugly.
Mm-hmm. Based. Anyway, sorry. I just had to show you the actual ad so you know that the context, like... So you understand the context.
All sexy, confident whenever they can. Like every other human, I wanted to believe that it was to support the self-love journey of women and leave it at that. But no, I decided to ruin my day and my trust in humanity by researching a bit more and found out that Dove is owned by Unilever. And guess
Unilever doesn't give a fuck about you either. Unilever owns everything under the sun. Especially like body products like shampoo, perfume, like toothpaste, like they own everything. They do not view you as someone like part of their family. They don't give a fuck about your well-being. They just want your money. And if fat people are the majority, which they are in America, there's a massive obesity problem. That means there's more money in you being fat and being catered to. If everybody was skinny, they would make skinny ads. Like, what
else Unilever owns? Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Yep, and they own Ben & Jerry's. I completely forgot about that.
Magnum ice cream, and many other ice creams.
So delicious.
Hellmann's mayo in all your greasy burgers. Skippy peanut butter. A selection of frozen foods. I could go on. Isn't it nice to encourage your consumers to accept their enlarged...
And this is why monopolies are insanely bad. Having companies owning like basically everything and then catering to themselves and people not understanding that you having an ad for Dove means that you're probably fat and eating Unilever products anyway. We are in a dystopian future that 70 years ago, people would laugh at you and say, that can't be real. This can't be happening in 70 years. Yeah, America's just one giant corpo and they're trying to take over the world.
Body and deteriorating health as the ideal in order to sell more of your processed foods because their beautiful bodies deserve more. Has body positivity, a movement intended to uplift women, become just...
Also, where's the men? Where's the fat men? Where are the big, fat, beautiful men with massive guts and rolls? Why are they not beautiful? Watch Queso? Yeah, but they're not sponsoring Queso. Yeah, who cares about men, right, Chet?
Manipulative limits to our acceptable emotions.
My dear, sweet child, that's what I do.
Oh, God, man. I can't even finish like a quarter of one of these. This is actual heinous shit.
What I live for.
And worse, a cover for big food, big farming, and big pharmaceutical companies to profit off a nation of increasingly sick and fat people.
And then you become dependent on the medical system and you become dependent on the medication. You get diabetes. You're not born with diabetes. There's absolutely people who are skinny and have diabetes, but there are an insane amount of fat people that have diabetes and they become dependent on the medication. That's just like, ugh. It's so like, just like, open your fucking view, man.
This is a coincidence.
So the industry has engineered what they call the bliss point for the perfect amount of sugar in products. Not too little, not too much. Working on maximizing the allure of the product.
Quote,
so good.
We like them fat. Pick any ultra-processed foods at your local grocery store, for example. Some Kraft mac and cheese and Nestle drumstick paired with some Kit Kat, Coffee Crisp, Smarties, and why not throw in some Laffy Taffy? Pop in the Kool-Aid and 4 cans of Dr. Pepper to keep hydrated.
Dr. Pepper's so
and
good.
Can't forget the Oreo and Chips Ahoy. 4 cans of orange Fanta for the vitamins. Balance, as one may say. As conventional beauty standards...
Also... I don't know if she goes through this, but there's an insane amount of portion control that is a really problematic thing in America. People just eat way too much and then they get used to it, and it's really hard to reverse portion size control. That people don't feel full. They'll eat like a normal amount for like a normal person, but then they feel hungry because they're so used to eating a lot. Like, again, I'm not saying that Europeans are perfect or any other country's perfect either. I think there's a lot of issues with what America, like the food industry, puts into the food, but portion control is like 50% of it as well. They give you way too much food at restaurants. They give you way too much food at like fast food places. You compare a large Coke in America to a large Coke in Europe, and there's a massive difference. It's so sad, man. I don't think it's just what they put in the food. It's how much they eat.
Become much more accepting and ambiguously defined by beauty giants. But guess who owns the beauty giants? Conglomerates like Nestle, Unilever, who sell you anything from chocolate to ice cream to frozen foods, and that is when the dove.
I don't have ice cream or soda in my house. I buy one little like Tony's bar of chocolate for 1 week. I'm good, man. Eat with chopsticks so you'll eat slower, more efficiently, by proxy decrease portion sizes. Yes. I'm a victim of this because when I was growing up, I only had about 15 minutes to eat my lunch. So I eat really, really fast, and it's really, really bad. And I've been trying to teach myself not to do that anymore. It's been really tough because I've been so used to it after like going through the school system. I'd like munch on my fucking sandwich like within like 2 seconds. And I'd want to go play, right? Like that's the reason why I ate so fast. My mom also eats really fast too, and she's like a small, short, skinny woman. That's a big factor.
Body soaps begin to make sense. Not saying that all body positive and fat acceptance campaigns are there to manipulate and trick you into increasing your body fat percentage without limits. And that is exactly the issue. So much of the message comes actually from an extremely caring and helpful perspective to help remove the stigma around plus-size people. But also, so much fat glorification has been disguised.
Yeah, mukbangs, I don't get mukbangs at all. I understand watching a video that talks about making food, but like watching people eat just disgusts me. Even if they're doing it like normally, I just get weirded out when it's like in a video. If you're sitting across from me and eating food, I don't give a fuck as long as you're not like going like I don't care. But it's when it's in a video and you're like, oh yeah. It's like, what?
As acceptance.
Oh my god.
And when the majority of your stakeholders need to make money from selling frozen pizzas and ice cream, the votes are not up to you. Hiding profit-generating fat glorification under the term fat acceptance.
And I hate that you can't say anything about it either. I hate that you can't say like, hey, it's unhealthy to be fat. I understand that there are circumstances in life and there are fat people and you can't help it. Maybe it's your life, your circumstances of your job, or like your budgeting. It's tough. Life sucks. You have no self-control because you're a human being. But glorifying it is like a completely different level of delusion that I just can't stand with. Even doctors are scared to say it. Yeah, isn't there like a movement going on where you can't say like fat to like a patient anymore? They were talking about it like 6 months ago. Those fat acceptance types are evil, used to be super obese, needed to shame more for it. Again, I'm not trying to be mean. It's okay to be fat. It's okay to have a little bit of fat on you. It's okay to be chubby. But at least acknowledge that you are going to either work on it or there's a reason why you're fat and you're going to do something about it. Yeah, and you're called fat phobic for saying anything.
It's genius in two ways. First, it plays on the sentiment of correcting social injustices in society. Yes, arguably so, the statistical likelihood of fat and obese people facing more difficulties in society, such as prejudices, is a lot higher. And the stigmatization in media brought unfair shaming to...
And this was in the 19... When did they make Ariel? 1992? 93? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was a while ago. They did that so long ago, but it's... Yeah, fat people are, like, considered evil in some cartoons and, like, shows. Like, you just automatically see a fat person, it's like, she's evil or he's evil. 1989? Oh, I can't remember. I don't know.
Obese individuals, which should never be normalized. But glorifying obesity, the disease, as conventional beauty hints at a moral superiority and makes anyone's opinions who differ morally shallow, regardless if fat is unhealthy or not. Second, a food company telling you that being fat is natural, which isn't, and awesome, is not so convincing.
There's no waistline worry with Coke, you know. This individual size bottle has no more calories than half a grapefruit.
When you
Oh my god! Or cigarette commercials. Do you guys, have you seen those? Yeah, smoke 3 cigarettes a day and it'll keep your appetite down. Doctors recommend it. It's like, oh my god, you look back at it now and it sounds insane.
spot their profit motive from 50 miles away.
Coke is low in calories too. Say now, don't you get any thinner?
A direct hard sell won't work here. But when a beauty or self-care company you never associate with frozen pizza casts someone plus size for a commercial, you get fired up with a sense of justice. Yeah, that is beautiful too. Don't get me wrong, overly restrictive beauty with models who are only Kate Moss level heroine chic is,
or they have size 0 and they don't eat. Unironically, I have had eating disorder Twitter and TikToks recommended to me every once in a while, and it's really disgusting because it just randomly comes across my feed and I'm like, you're eating an apple and like chewing on some ice and you're calling it good. What is wrong with you? How do you not realize that's a problem? It's the same thing as eating 5 Big Macs. It's not healthy.
Also problematic because, again, it is not healthy. But as much as many wish, the spectrum of healthy
oh, this one was really funny. This is an Australian show, I'm pretty sure.
Does not stretch over to obesity. It is amazing that women of all sizes are loving and accepting who they are, but genuine self-love and confidence comes from within and not society telling you or some ads telling you that your size is also quote-unquote beautiful. What we're talking about here is not the opposite of fat shaming. For shaming someone for any reason is not acceptable behavior because it does not come from a place of genuine care of wanting to help them be well.
Exactly. You saying to someone, hey, I think you're a bit overweight, I think you have a problem going up the stairs, is not the same as someone typing a mean comment saying, you're a big fat ass, you should neck. There's a big difference. One is saying, I'm concerned for you because you're another human being that I may not know personally. And the other is like being extremely mean and telling them to go die. Like, what?
Talking about the glorification of fat.
It's not the same. It's not fatphobic to say you care.
Acceptance.
Positivity is toxic because it pretends to be rooted in compassion and kindness. But in reality, it encourages women to engage in very destructive behaviors. It encourages women to be obese, unhealthy.
I want to go to Starbucks and like drink a bunch of coffee with sugar in it, but I don't do it because I know I'll probably develop diabetes and die at age like 34. Like, I don't fucking do that. It's just like, why? Everybody wants to go and eat like a bunch of steaks and feel good afterwards, but it doesn't lead to a healthy body.
And be
it's self-destruction, yeah,
responsibility
exactly.
and discipline.
If you think most body positivity campaigns are to help you love yourself, I'm sorry, honey. Corporate America is
Honey.
a surfacely sweet but extremely cruel place.
It's like, how can you not see the problem? They have to see it and just not care. They have to just be like, well, we're gaining profit. Do you see how much this McDonald's is making? Put another one across the street.
There is nothing wrong with fat acceptance. Acceptance of reality is the first and most essential step to all or any type of progress. But the importance of what to do after accepting the reality is often neglected and never talked about. Telling fat people to keep eating the way that's not serving their health because they are beautiful is like telling an alcoholic to keep on drinking because they're fun. It's
And then they get mad when you compare it to alcoholism or like sex addiction. It's a disease, man. It's a psychological disease.
the easy and profitable thing to do.
Having a fat country makes us money.
But at the end
A lot of money.
of the day, it is irresponsible to push unhealthy, addictive behaviors to
Was that a pizza with french fries and Texas toast and mayonnaise? Ugh. It's not, you're not even eating to enjoy. You're just gorging yourself like a fucking seagull.
a greater extreme with the power of both bring.
Bro, I just refuse to believe that you're enjoying yourself eating that food. I watched a bodybuilder eat 10,000 calories on Joshua, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about, that really like cool famous like cook or whatever. He made like a full like 10,000 calorie like healthy meal for him. And the guy was like, I'm not even enjoying myself after like 6,000 calories. I'm just eating because I have to. How do these people do that?
Washing quote-unquote self-love ads and processed foods designed in a way that's addicting, easy to eat, and easy to repeat the eating pattern. It's not a simple good versus bad food, normal versus fat problem. It's a whole addictive pattern building trap.
I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. Everyone was so happy for me. I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated why I exercised.
Naturally fat.
That means you're unhappy with yourself. It's literally as simple as that. It means you're not happy from within.
Our daily trips to McDonald's genetics. Is eating chips in bed genetics? Is being allergic to the gym genetics? Is
What? Nobody likes going to the gym. There are very few people that enjoy getting sweaty and stinking and fucking being out of breath. You're doing it for your health. You have to do it.
running 100 miles genetics.
I do. Okay,
Back in a
sure.
universe
I'm
where
just
fat
saying.
just meant fat and not a compliment or insult. Fat just means you have excess energy stored in your body that you are not using. Obesity or overweight is a disorder involving excessive body fat that increases the risk of health problems. Notice how something that elevates your risk of dying of cardiac arrest is a disorder and is not normal. Needless to say,
No, you can't say that. You're gonna get canceled.
glamorously framed as the modern sexiness. Yet times and times again, science and data say one thing and media and advertising say another. Beauty is supposed to be diverse and natural, but there is nothing natural about being obese. Obesity prevalence.
Yes, there is, because everybody else in the US is obese, therefore it's normal because there's a lot of people that are fat. If you see a lot of fat chipmunks, it means it's normal, right, chat?
was stably low until shooting up post the 70s. And even though there is no data evidently backing up its absence in our hunter and gatherer days, rare civilizations removed from modern processed foods and lifestyles such as the Chimene tribe is a close modern case. The Chimene, a Bolivian population living in a subsistence lifestyle of hunting, gathering, fishing.
You ever see any fat people in Venezuela or like Brazil where it's like really expensive to like buy groceries, or you know, like the income poverty line is really low? Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just a rich country problem. Yeah, or Africa. That's
farming
crazy.
had the lowest levels of coronary heart diseases reported to date and statistically insignificant obesity. And yes, they also eat sugar and starchy carbs.
And they're also walking around and doing shit. If you're a fat ass American sitting at your computer and you don't go outside, I mean, like, sorry, there's your problem.
Just harvested by themselves. So do these people just have some God-sent fat?
Shut up, I'm Brazilian and we have more food than all your fucking country. Holy fuck, I got actually someone offended. Do you follow me? No, you're just a perpetually offended person. Yeah, okay, you got banned. I'm sorry about that, chat. Yeah, just a low IQ troglodyte like wandering into stream and doesn't understand the context in which I'm talking. What a fucking dumbass. I was praising the fact that in Brazil there's no fat people, but okay, I guess I'm in the wrong. Sorry, Chad, there's fat people in Brazil.
Proof genetics? No. The overall Bolivian population that shares similar genetics is still subject to 28 and 17% of obesity for women and men. So if they also
That's still not as high as America.
carbs, fat, protein, just like the American diet, why are they rarely inflicted with fat-related health complications? Is all the difference really in the absence of food processing? According to CDC, Americans are eating more calories on average than they did in the 1970s.
Yeah, if you go and look at a McDonald's advertisement of them advertising the Big Mac, it was literally smaller than it is now. You can't even deny it. It's fact. You can find videos. If you can't find it, like in real life, it's in old videos that are archived.
1971 and 2000, the average man added 168 calories to his daily fare, while the average woman added 335 calories a day. What is driving this trend? Experts say it's a combination of increased availability, bigger portions, and more high-calorie foods, but nothing beats the devious design of processed foods to get people hooked as an addictive coping mechanism to rising psychological issues. Food addiction.
That's another thing that they psychologically do. I don't know if a lot of people know this. I'm sure my chat knows this, but the reason why they give you a combo meal and they give you a drink is because you're eating so much salt with your burger and so much salt with your fries, is that chasing it down with a sugary drink results in you getting a chemical addiction to the sugar being the quenching of the salt from eating the burger. And that gets you addicted. Have you ever looked at an advertisement or looked at a burger from like, on an ad from a TV and started like visibly or even like mentally drooling and being like, damn, I'm kind of hungry now? That's an addiction effect. That's what they want. They want you to associate a burger and being like, I kind of want McDonald's now. That's why people who instead of craving water, they crave a Coke. Yes, it's literally like psychologically built.
Is a carefully designed process. People aren't stuffing their faces.
That's why it's cheaper to buy the combo for the drink and the fries and the burger at McDonald's than buying those things separately because they want you to eat all of it. I know, crazy.
And beans when they're having a bad day. Quote, foods that are very high in fat and carbohydrate in equal ratio don't exist naturally, said Gerhardt, a clinical psychologist at the University of Michigan. It is something that is designed by food scientists in a laboratory to look a certain way, feel a certain way in your mouth, smell a certain way when you open the package. So once you had one pleasant experience with it, you want more, and you want it more often. Food addiction is on the rise, and the conglomerate.
If I remember correctly, there's also a statistic that food dopamine hitting is almost as high as when you're getting a dopamine hit from heroin. It's not at the same level, don't get me wrong. I remember reading like responses for dopamine hits when you're eating a delicious piece of food that you like, you get high. It's like heroin.
Conglomerates are normalizing it.
Yeah, look at
or
that.
rather, glamorizing the
Ooh.
consequence of it. So much of the fat acceptance movement is actually a brainwashing ad for addictive junk food. And yes, excuse my language, for it is now politically incorrect to call food good or bad. And I agree. It's all based on perspective. Good for what and bad for what, and how much of
it, exactly. Watching VTubers all the time is probably not healthy, but VTubers are fine, right, chat?
good before it turns not so good. Because good versus bad is so subjective.
I still can't believe there's people that buy this shit too. It's covered in chocolate and it has like fucking 18 grams of sugar per bar. 18 grams of sugar, by the way, is the equivalent of a Coca-Cola per bar. Not all of these. I think Annie's, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, all this shit all has sugar in it that you don't need.
It's easier than ever for food companies to manipulate the concept, because the easier answer is always one that makes you feel good. To eat as much as you want and still feel great about yourself.
Get that fiber and the antioxidants and just feel.
And the greatest beneficiaries to glorifying this disease is the toxic triad of big farming, big food, and big pharma for creating a nation of sick and fat people. Let me put it into context. About a third of our economy thrives on making people more fat and sick. Big farming grows 500 more calories per person per day than 25 years ago. Industrially processed foods with addictive combinations of fat, sugar, and salt deter the stop signals for eating. The sicker our population, the more medications are sold for high.
South Koreans used to be less fat until America occupied them. Let that sink in.
Cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, depression,
their diets
and
were
other
different.
lifestyle-driven diseases. While more and more of us believe not only is this okay, this type of sickness is sexy and beautiful. And sadly, the profit-driven version of the fat acceptance movement targets women way more. Why do we see a range of plus-size models from mannequins in retail to Victoria's Secret fashion shows, while men's fashion still shows buff and toned models and plastic mannequins? Something does not add up. Perhaps it
gets you addicted to Ozempic. Big Pharma, Big Borpa. Sorry, not occupy. I think I used the wrong word. You know, like when they have the military bases in there. Yeah, they introduced a lot of fats and like cheeses and spam as well. Yeah, that stuff.
It is because of the preconceived notion that women care more about appearances, or that many women still take the main responsibility for shopping for food for the whole household, which drives more impact in speeding up the fattening of the population, leading
kids being fat is child abuse. Not that this is a lukewarm take of mine, but it is
to more sickness.
Yeah.
The spiral itself, from farming to food processing to solving a naturally increasing problem, is just bleak and sickening. Self-acceptance is not the opposite from self-improvement, and is certainly not the logical reason to regenerate 90% of your cells from frozen pizzas, chocolates, chips, and whatever genius foods corporations created to keep you addicted and sick. Part of loving yourself is to actually take accountability for your well-being instead of letting profit-seeking.
Why would I take accountability? I want to eat 5 Big Macs and have Dove tell me I'm beautiful no matter what.
Commercials tell you that you are enough. Being positive does not mean being unrealistic. It requires the courage to face the discomfort of broken delusions and be willing to make changes if needed.
I can't believe it. People dying before they're like 45 is just like so sad. So sad to me. You shouldn't be passing away from illnesses that can be prevented. Like, if you're chronically ill, like, I understand genetics, whatnot, but, like, something that's preventable is just sad to me.
Activity movement has now resulted in magazine covers that actually says this is healthy. The lifestyle of being obese is now not only beautiful, but it's healthy.
Glorifying a disease is not self-love. It's delusion.
Imagine if they said drug addiction is healthy on the front page of Cosmopolitan. That's essentially what they're doing.
Of course course I don't have any health problems. Always out of breath and it's hard to do things, but that's because of fat phobia. The doctor's not listening to me. It has nothing to do with the fact that my fupa restricts my movement.
And despite
she's being sarcastic.
How impossible
She's
it
being
seems,
sarcastic,
what you do
you can hear it.
after acceptance is still
It's
your
not my
choice
fault.
to make. That's a food for thought.
My fupa! My fatness is beautiful, chat. Now hand me that rag. I gotta clean myself. Oh, that was good. I like that. That was funny. Funny in a sad way, but you know, it's true. America has done irreversible damage to other people's diets. McDonald's has ruined a lot of countries. Yeah. I wash myself with a rag on a stick.